regarding these matters that have happened, the man in Minneapolis who died was killed by the police. This woman in Central Park who complained about the, quote, African-American gentleman. She works for an investment company called Templeton. They fired her after this video went viral. 4 officers fired. Not one day of testimony, no grand jury, no DOJ investigation, no temporarily putting them on leave while there's an investigation. They were summarily fired. And by the way, don't think that when they hire their defense lawyers, they probably already have, they're not going to countersue claiming that we were summarily fired without due process. I've seen that happen before, and I've seen cities that have done that get dinged. Now, I'm not at all saying that what happened in Minneapolis should have happened. Not at all condoning the actions of these officers. It certainly seems excessive to me. I mean, my God, having this man press like that with your knee on his neck for 5-7 minutes. And yes, he was saying, I can't breathe. And yes, suspects often say the handcuffs are such, I can't feel my hands, I can't breathe. People lie all the time. But 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, it seems excessive to me. The point is this. Despite what the people at MSNBC say and CNN say, there is zero tolerance in this country for racism against black people. Zero. Former editor of the National Review, his name is John O'Sullivan, once put it this way. White racism exists, but its social power is weak. The social power against it, overwhelming. End of quote. And I'm sure you can think of a lot of incidents without working up much of a sweat where that's happened. Remember that relief pitcher, John Rocker, for the Atlanta Braves, who made those asinine comments that were printed in Sports Illustrated? Gets canned. Goes from team to team, never did regain his form. Got fired by his team. You remember when Al Campanis, what's his last name? Campanis. Al Campanis, the former general manager of the Dodgers, on an anniversary of Jackie Robinson becoming a major league player, he was asked on Nightline, why is it there aren't more blacks in positions of management, of responsibility? He goes, fired. Done. Michael Richards, the comedian, the one that was on Seinfeld, very popular, doing a stand-up here in L.A., gets hackled by some blacks, drops a bunch of N-words. This man cannot get a table at Fatburger anymore. Done. I've seen this over and over and over again. Paula Deen, done. Made that crack about blacks in that lawsuit. Dwayne Dog Chapman lost his show after making some crack. Zero tolerance. My point is, look at the reaction. And you know who else believes me? Believes what I just now said, although he would not want to admit it? Eric Holder, the former AG under Barack Obama. He gave a speech in which he referred to what happened to the former owner of the LA Clippers, Donald Sterling, who's on video, on tape, at his home, talking to his girlfriend, making a bunch of disparaging comments about Magic Johnson and about blacks. Loses his team. And Eric Holder said, you know, when you see blatant instances of racism, like the Donald Sterling stuff, we got that. We can deal with that. It's the pernicious racism, he said, that's the problem today. And he gave 3 examples, and I've told you about the examples in the past. I won't belabor them. But they were the push for voter ID. Oops, majority of blacks want voter ID. He claimed that because black boys were kicked out disproportionately at schools compared to white boys, that was an example of racism. Oops, turns out that irrespective of the racial composition of the school board, irrespective of the race of the teacher, irrespective of the race of the principal, black boys are kicked out disproportionately compared to white boys. Nothing to do with race. Unless, of course, you're prepared to say all these teachers are racist. The third thing he pointed out is that black men who commit a crime compared to a white man who commits the same crime will get a longer sentence, and that is true. What Eric Holder didn't tell you is that the U.S. Sentencing Commission says it is true because judges will look at someone's record, criminal record, in the sentencing phase, and it turns out the average black criminal has a longer record than the average white criminal. I'm sorry. So Eric Holder acknowledged that blatant instances of racism, where the people are looking at it, like what's going on in Minneapolis. I'm not saying it was race-based, but I'm saying it is an issue that will be analyzed, scrutinized, injected, respected, inspected. It won't go away. I remember some years ago, some executives from Texaco were on the phone making disparaging comments about black employees, lost their jobs. Papa John, the CEO, on a phone call makes a disparaging comment about jobs, loses his position at CEO. This is what I'm talking about. Zero tolerance for racism against blacks. Doesn't say it doesn't occur. I'm just saying there's zero tolerance for it. And that is one of the reasons, I'm sure, why, as I've said many times, studies have shown officers are more hesitant, more reluctant to use deadly force on blacks than on whites, even on Hispanics. Very likely because they know a ton of grief is going to come down on them. The civil rights establishment, the local media,